Bones are amazing things. They hold us up. They support us. They make us strong. But bones have other uses. In the past, bones were thrown by diviners, seeking out the mysteries of the future. Now the bones are cubes, made of plastic or resin, but they still reveal things to us. As they fall from our fingers and rattle across the table, the story becomes clear. Welcome to Bone Throwers Theater, an RPG actual play podcast.
Welcome back to Bone Throwers Theater. My name is Aaron. I play Sam Feluge.
This is Johnny, and I play Chime North.
I'm Ellie, and I play Archi.
This is Jeff, and I play Jerr Lan.
And this is Jeremy, playing Julian along for the ride, Illix.
And I'm Jordan, and I'm the Game Master. Previously on Bone Throwers Theater, you all finally arrived back at Consiglio. It's interesting to see that map back on the table. Things don't seem to be going very well. It seems like the town is under a bit of a lockdown, war zone, insurrection point, however you want to describe it.
Fun times.
You went to where you had been hiding out in Season 2, where the printing press was, saw some posters with your faces mocked up on them.
We found it in Season 1, and then first episode of Season 2, we had to abandon it.
Yeah.
The hideout from Season 2 was the school.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you all were looking for a contact named March, codenamed March, and you arrive at a place where you believe March would be, and there was a figure that, as a show, we thought might be dead. Well, there was a figure who other characters had been told was dead. You guys have had no experience with this character aside from a Season 1 phone call.
Yes.
This is correct.
So, who knows what's actually happening? I certainly don't. This person claims to be Martha Delby, Crom Delby's wife. If you all remember from the side shots, Crom Delby, he had been arrested because of ties to missing explosives, military-grade explosives called GX-35. In reality, it was Choler who was stealing it, but Crom had been identified as a suspect.
And then as the fall man.
Yeah, and Crom had been taken away. His children had some very anti-council sentiments.
Mm-hmm.
And
They were corrected.
Wow, we don't know what happened to him.
we don't know
They
what
were
happened
sent to
to them.
corrections.
Did they die in the Black House?
We don't know.
There were kids that were screaming in the Black House.
There were screaming children in the Black House.
That's where Crom Delby was taken too, so could be.
So,
Bone Throwers Theater, where children go to die.
When did Anakin show up?
anyway, someone claiming to be Martha Delby answers the door and sees who you are, recognizes you, I wonder why, and then asks if you are there to lead the revolution.
And Sam said yes.
Yes.
And everybody else is standing around like, okay.
We are here to lead the revolution.
So, what do you guys do now?
What is inside the house? Because that would be the first thing Julian does, is take note of what's in there.
I can't remember. Was it a house or was it an apartment building? The fact that Crom Delby had a townhouse before was a pretty big status symbol.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe we did say it was a house. And it is in the inner circle of the opera house. So.
Okay. So it used to be a nicely appointed building. It definitely looks like it's more been a squatting pad at this point. Like, there's a lot of trash in the corners. You get a smell of maybe, you hope it's cat urine.
Mm.
Also, there's no heat on in the building, no air conditioning. It smells of chlorine pretty badly.
Oh.
And the smell of cat urine and chlorine mixing together is just nasty.
Yeah.
Yum.
Noxious? That's like deadly
Uh-huh.
in large doses.
You see a map of Consiglio on the wall.
Looks just like that one.
It's like been shaded in with different colors in different parts of the town.
Julian will probably, and once he sees that, just fixate on that and study it.
Well, I mean, if you want to just completely avoid your friend agreeing to lead a revolution, that's fine.
Friend.
Compatriot.
Quote unquote.
Honestly, Julian probably wouldn't say anything. He would maybe raise an eyebrow, but then kind of go back to taking a look at the map.
Okay.
In the back of the mind, is probably just like, all right, we're leading revolutions now.
Could be worse.
I mean, we did set it off, so.
Might as well leave it.
Archie's gonna, say his, small talk with March's wife as he knows him. Her, yes.
Wait. So, Archie, you know the wife?
No, I meant I know March. I know he has a wife.
She says she's the wife of Crom Delby. To this point, we have not established if Crom Delby
Is March.
was March.
Because you
Was,
know March
because-
is March.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. She said she's a wife, not necessarily March's wife, but we don't know that March might be Crom Delby.
Right, we've made assumptions there.
She's not a wife, she's a witch.
Yes. We have made assumptions
Okay.
because she was at the place where we expected to see March and was talking about Crom Delby. There were assumptions made that March is Crom Delby.
But she did say that March was gone.
Right.
Yes.
And
Didn't she say he would be coming back though?
it was not definitive what she said. She kind of made a statement that could have been interpreted that he'd be back.
Yeah.
Okay.
But she did not say for sure
He was
Much
one
money
way or the
vagaries.
other.
All right. So Archie is gonna have some niceties, conversation with Crom Delby's wife.
Okay.
He's gonna, part ways and then kind of sneak over to Sam and, slightly whisper in the ear, "What are you doing?" through gritted teeth.
What we came here to do.
To lead a revolution?
The place is in shambles. We need to get somebody on our side. At this point, they're going to be easy to use.
You're gonna tell a lady that I don't even know this information. We don't know if she's gonna speak to somebody else.
She's right here. She's not going anywhere.
Archie's gonna throw his hands back up and be like, "You know what? Okay." And turn and walk away from Sam.
Are there any pictures on the walls or family pictures anywhere?
No. It seems to have been stripped down pretty Spartan. There is some furniture, but it looks like it's seen better days. If you want to sit on it, you're more than welcome to, but you might have to scrape off a layer of detritus, maybe some plaster that's falling from the ceilings.
And I was just looking to see if there's anything identifying her as actually who she says she is.
Not at this point.
Okay.
At this point, I'm going to ask, how has the revolution been communicating up until now?
We've mostly been organized in like a cell structure, so couriers for the most part,
Okay. How many people are in your cell?
about 20.
A large cell.
Are you the leader of your cell?
No.
What's the name of the leader of your cell? Can you take us to them?
Well, he's coming back.
Who is the leader of your cell?
March.
Okay, and March will be coming back here.
Yes.
And Julian's still looking at the map. You hear him kind of speak over the top of his shoulder. It's like, and is March's real name? Or is that code name?
Code name.
Would we know his real name?
What do you mean?
Before all this happened, was he a part of another organization?
I mean, he worked for the council.
But for the council, you mean for the council or on the council?
Or for the council?
He was a public servant.
Okay.
What was his job? Just curious.
He worked in sanitation.
Water treatment?
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Julian is just going to turn to Sam and is like, this may be the guy that I was referring to, that I'm not sure was still in play.
It could be. I think this is a good place to start trying to get information on the city, the current state of points to the map, who's in control of what, so we can start tracking down those the people we're trying to reach.
So on the map, are there any symbols denoting the different shaded areas? Because off the top of my head, I remember 4 different symbols from descriptions from last session.
Mm-hmm.
The Fire Drakes seem to be in league with the North Belsaran Army.
Mm-hmm.
The symbol with the N with a line through it. The Gear Fangs, and then what we assume is the healing hand symbols, 2 hands with the medical symbol in between. Are there any symbols on there?
You see the geared fangs, and you also see the official council seal.
Now, out of game question, would any imagery of the North Belsaran Army just be derived from that official council seal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's, like,
Yeah, I was just wondering if Julian's looking for any symbols of the healing hands.
you don't see any healing hands really on the map.
Okay.
What about the section where we're at right now?
Oh yeah, is that shaded? That's a good question.
It is. So it's like hatched with 2 colors.
Okay.
It looks like it's a very contested area.
So is Julian seeing, of the 4 symbols that were mentioned last time, seeing all the other symbols except the healing hand symbol?
No.
He's not seeing the N with a line through it.
Correct.
Okay. He's going to point to the map, turn to what we're assuming is Crom Delvey's wife. Why are there no hands on this map?
So when Gaspar Neri was killed, the healing hands was left with a pretty big power vacuum in the area. There's not really been anybody with the healing hands who stepped up, and they haven't had a chance to send anybody from Centauro or any of the other countries to Consiglio yet.
Do you know where they're located at? In the city. Healing Hands is at.
Well, that's the thing, is that they don't have a significant enough group of people in the town to be like a force. They've been trying to help us out, but more as a supplemental.
Out of game, what Julian is trying to coax out is his contact who worked in water treatment was actually part of the healing hands.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Julian is actually trying to figure out if this is
Prior
healing.
Oh, yeah.
Healing. Well, prior contact.
Which group this is?
Yeah. Or are we in a legit place right now, or are we being duped?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Which faction is this person supporting?
Right.
Or what factions might be supporting the group that the person is also working with.
Yes.
Which honestly, from the description, sounds like Miss Delby is not a part of Healing Hands.
Yes.
Which would raise some concerns because Julian thinks that this person who is March is his contact who is part of Healing Hands.
I had forgotten that about March.
Okay.
Because March is Archie's contact. You knew your person as somebody else.
Marchie.
I don't know
Wow.
what that was about.
So that'll be interesting. The second contact that both Archie and Julian have had unbeknownst to each other.
Yeah.
Just another thing that bonds us, man.
So, Miss Delby, is there something else I can call you?
I mean, you can call me Martha.
Martha. All right, so I'm looking at this map, and there's a number of revolutionary forces on here.
Mm-hmm.
Which of these groups are supporting you, your cell, or which group is your cell supporting?
Well, not this one. And she points to the council logo.
Right.
And not this one. She points to the Fire Drake logo.
Well, and Julian says that and then stops.
Okay. What communication is there between this one, points at the gear face? What communication and coordination is there between these two groups?
Well, I was hoping you could share some more about that.
Okay. So far there's been none.
Basically, at this point, we've been trying to establish a toehold more than anything.
Okay.
Who is we?
Julian is going to sort of out of the side of his mouth like, direct?
Sometimes you need to be.
How much would Chime know about Cromdelby's arrest?
None.
None.
Yeah, that happened.
I know, it happened after everything started. It happened after the explosion. Okay.
So it was after you were already in custody and on the run.
Yeah.
So you have had no connection with the official military after that point. Other than it was being reported that he was arrested and blamed for the explosion.
Does Martha answer Jer's question about who is we?
Well, we were...
Being quite hesitant over there.
No, that's the GM trying to think of how to phrase things.
He knows that this answer has lasting implications.
That's not Martha delaying, that's the GM delay.
I feel like there needs to be a little bit of a quid pro quo here in terms of information. Like, all I know is that you all came. We know that there was an announcement, and it mentioned the North family.
Does she look at me when she says that?
Yes.
It mentioned a lot of people. It mentioned everybody here in this room except for you. So, quid pro quo, you know a whole lot more about us than we know about you.
Come upstairs. So She takes you upstairs and she says,
I don't think we've answered whether or not we're going upstairs.
she starts going upstairs.
Okay.
What you couldn't see, as soon as Jordan said that, there was a lot of shifty eyes around the table. I'm like,
Nobody answered. We're like, who's going to take a shot here?
Yeah.
And I think that would have been in the room too. Shifty eyes looking at each other. It's like, do we go upstairs?
Martha just starts going upstairs.
Sam would go upstairs.
Okay.
So would Jerr.
Once everybody starts going, Julian.
Well, I'm staying downstairs looking out the front window.
Covering our butts.
Basically. What you doing, Archie?
He's going to roll his eyes and mutter under his breath and just walk behind.
Julian just made a connection. This is total coincidence, but it fits. The first name of Julian's contact was Markea. March.
That's funny. Yeah, probably total coincidence.
Because Ellie's the one that made up March.
Yeah. That's too funny.
So, since she is leading in front of us, Sam has a hand on her gun. Yeah. Trust but verify.
As you're going upstairs, you start hearing a hissing noise. A very rhythmic.
Darth Vader.
When did Anakin show up?
And you are with the fire drake.
You also start hearing the beeping. Life support system.
Yeah.
She goes up to what would be the master bedroom and opens the door. And there is a hospital bed.
I go over to it immediately.
There's a person on the hospital bed completely wrapped head to toe in gauze. They're hooked up to a ventilator, heart monitors. This is my husband, Crom.
Julian's gonna raise an eyebrow. Like, how?
Council came for him.
That still doesn't answer the question of who is we.
Or how.
They came for Crom because they thought he was involved in a plot to overthrow the government.
Julian brings his rifle off the shoulder strap. It's like, we know that Crom is dead. We know that he was taken and was killed.
Good point.
Seen with our own eyes. Who is this?
It took a lot of work to get him out of the Black House, and it took a lot of work to get him into this position. This is my husband. He was taken because there was a raid on our house.
Is there gauze over his face?
Yeah. He was taken from our house because of my beliefs.
Is your husband a proxy?
No.
So, out of game. In the Black House, Sam saw them trying to force an elemental into him.
Mm-hmm.
He may win in the league.
Yeah.
Sam's going to turn to Julian and make you see. Yeah,
Something like that.
just make you see. Because Sam does remember that they were forcing an elemental into Crom.
Okay. So, there are two persons in the room that Julian's going to try and take note of. Martha and Crom. Any elementals?
Yes.
What elementals? And where?
There's a water elemental in Crom.
And since Sam did that, Julian will turn to Sam, just point to Crom Delby's body and be like, water.
Jerr's gonna say, oh good, that can help to his advantage.
Sam pulls out her gun and points it at Martha.
Julian follows suit.
Is your husband a proxy?
No. He's an innate.
He's been compromised.
And Julian's like, that's impossible.
He's a passer. Very rare.
What is a passer?
A passer is someone who can carry elementals for a short time.
So you know he's carrying an elemental right now.
Yes. That's how he's been staying alive.
Okay.
And where did this water elemental come from? Julian, as he's waiting for an answer, lowers the rifle back on the sling. Gonna pull out his canteen and just take a drink of water.
Jerr is going to commence with healing others.
Sam's lowering the gun, but still keeping it up. Can elementals see other elementals?
Mm-hmm. We established that.
We established that. And elementals have signatures.
Yes.
Yeah. Essentially have fingerprints.
Does Chine recognize this element
Sure.
as the one he's looking for?
Just let me know if there's anybody approaching the house.
Julian failed to do it by himself. And as he sees Jerr healing, he's going to walk over to Jerr and kind of slyly say, you need a little assistance? And he's shaking his canteen.
Sure.
Pours out some of his hands, and he's going to retry.
Okay.
I was not able to do it on my own.
Oh, because
Could have done it on my own.
you don't have all the bonuses for the water
not
elementals
yet.
that you do for the air and fire.
Yeah.
Nope, but I did try, so chance roll. That elemental has a -2. Alright, but Julian is now connected to that elemental.
31? 32 for healing.
31 is legendary.
I was going to say, I think that's 8 point worthy as well.
Yep.
The check was to begin healing, or
Yeah, to heal him.
it's going to take a lot to heal this person.
Yeah. The fact that he's already self-healing with the water elemental helps a lot.
Yeah. You're seeing, like, you know how in your lungs looks like a root system for trees?
Yeah.
You can feel those roots are regenerating slowly.
Mm-hmm.
The flesh and vitreous humor and surrounding matter is starting to regenerate, which
Yeah.
should be completely impossible.
Yeah.
The dragging rasp of the ventilator seems like the drag is actually a bit smoother.
Hmm.
Quick question. Does everybody know that I killed Cromdelby?
Mm-hmm.
You told
Okay,
us.
I
No.
told Archie doesn't.
Oh, Archie probably doesn't remember. It was told to everybody in the group, but that was pre...
Okay, and I said that I
Healed
marched in
Archie.
and killed Cromdelby.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break, and we will be back right after this.
Welcome to Very Random Encounters, where we play tabletop RPGs and randomly determine as much as possible.
Remember playing with Legos and swapping the people's heads and limbs to create horrid abominations that God forgot?
Our show is what it would be like if those rejected attempts at the human form had to go out and save the day.
We turn the nonsense into a story with a nice message, like how friendship is stronger than a mind-controlled goblin jazz band.
Hey, that's a thing that really happened.
Find Very Random Encounters wherever you randomly determine to listen to podcasts.
And we're back. So you were trying to connect with the elemental, is that correct?
Yes, Julian connected with the water elemental. So Julian's going to speak to it, and he's going to say, other than trying to save Cromdelby, what is your goal? What are you working for? Who are you working for? Who is working for you? So it's not talking.
Correct.
So is that a trait of water elementals that they just don't talk?
Are you asking?
No, I'm saying that to the water elemental.
Oh, you're asking the water elemental that.
You get the mental equivalent of a rude gesture.
That's kind of funny.
He's gonna say, well, at least you have a little bit of personality. So, nothing. What human faction are you supporting? Or are you working with? A mental image would do.
You see shafts of light going through water, followed by a trail of bubbles. It looks like the flash of something silver.
And what is that? I'm not aware of this faction. Or what faction this image is supposed to represent.
You start hearing something like that.
You wouldn't know anything about that. Alright, let's try this. Let's try a yes or no, positive or negative response. And he's just going to list the different factions that are warring within Consiglia right now. He's going to say, Fire Drakes or the Council?
You hear the hiss of steam being poured on a fire.
So I'm going to take that as a no.
Assume that's not good.
How about Gears with Fangs?
You hear a ticking noise, and then you see a giant bristle sweeping up tiny specks from the water.
Okay. What about Healing Hands?
Bubbles.
And then we've also seen an N crossed out. The letter N.
Bubbles.
Julian is going to say, well, thank you very much. This has been very helpful. And then try and project the mental image of him shaking his head violently. And he's going to disconnect.
Johnny, you hear the back door open.
I pull my gun and peep to where I can see who's coming in.
Or you sneak.
Yeah. A 6 for sneaking.
You manage to rustle some bags.
Do we hear noise upstairs?
Go ahead and roll to notice, everybody who's upstairs.
I would not be able to because
Perception.
I'm preoccupied.
Yeah, okay. Perception.
Oh my gosh, I'm switching this out. No longer use the metal die for the wild die.
Yeah.
I've tried.
And every single time it doesn't roll well.
No.
It's a cool set.
It is a very cool set, but
I rolled a 7 just in case.
I rolled an 8.
7 here.
Do you want a Batman die?
12.
Ironically enough, Julian did the best.
But that was with 5D.
Yes, he has the highest perception.
Yeah.
By a lot.
So you're preoccupied. You're very busy.
Yes.
Is there a window in this room that we're in?
Yeah.
I'm gonna be near the window.
Okay.
Just want to make that clear.
Did you ever say, did Julian notice?
Yes. You heard the door open and close.
So, wow, okay. Julian has just been staring off into space. Everybody, we're probably assuming he's talking to the water elemental. And all of a sudden, he just comes back. He's like, someone just walked in the door downstairs. And he turns to go downstairs.
Okay.
He says that out loud to everybody.
What can we see from the stairs? Is it a closed stairwell, an open stairwell?
There's a bit of a curve. There's a dog leg.
Okay.
So, like, you go down 4 or 5 stairs, and then there's a small landing, and then you continue down the rest.
And it opens out into the front door.
Yes.
Okay. Then yes, I'll be going downstairs with Julian. With gun drawn. Because
I was assuming you had not put that away.
Yeah. Do I get to a point where I can see who's coming in?
Yes.
Do I recognize them? If it's their contact, then no.
Yes. Then correct. You do not recognize them.
Okay. What do they do when they come in?
Well, they have a gun drawn as well.
Do we hear the cocking of said gun?
I just call out. What's your intent here?
Who are you?
Answer mine, I'll answer yours.
Do we hear the cocking of said gun?
Yes.
Then you hear another cock of a rifle as footsteps increase down the stairs.
I say, I'm here peacefully. What's your intent here?
Well, I was meeting somebody, but it looks like they're already occupied. So Julian and Sam are both going down the stairs. What's Archie doing?
He's gonna stay back in the room.
What's Martha doing?
Martha is following right behind you.
So we're talking out loud, so I'm sure y'all can hear us talking.
Oh, yes.
Oh, does Julian recognize the voice?
Go ahead and roll perception.
So that was part of my reason of talking out loud. Hopefully see if somebody recognizes this.
good call on that wild die.
Yeah.
Nice.
Wow.
30.
You heard it 50
Oh, so close.
It was the voice you heard 50 years ago. Yes, you do remember that.
Dang it, I needed one more.
You do recognize the voice.
But I'm going to get it. Julian comes around and he's lowering his rifle, and it's the contact.
Yes.
Okay. And he's holding up his hands. He's like, Kotarar, it's okay. It's not what you think. That's his quote.
Nice.
Alright, so when I hear that, I step out to where I can be seen.
Okay.
Gun's still in hand, but it's not pointed at him.
Right.
So he just called him by name.
Yes. Who is that?
And he comes around the side, and he's got his hands raised.
Elix? North?
Yeah.
Well, he would recognize both of
Yes.
you because of the posters.
Yeah.
What are you doing back here?
Well, we needed to come back for different reasons, but we had to leave in a hurry.
I remember. The whole city remembers.
So are you still with the same organization?
If there was anyone to lead the organization, yes. But I'm on my own here at the moment, so we've had to make do.
Well, you've got, and best way to put this, you got a pretty notable figure from the old regime here. Not me, of course, but upstairs.
All right, then. Well, we'll just take it one step at a time. Was this building empty when you got here?
Empty? Was it supposed to be?
No.
No, it wasn't. And I thought Martha was coming down after.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
I'm here.
I was like,
I'm here, March. It's all right. Kotorara lets off a big sigh. I thought there was a sweep. And he's been carrying this bag slung over his shoulder, and he just sets that down to the floor.
What's in the bag?
Food.
Okay.
Good thing Bear didn't come with us.
Cheese! A whole pound of cheese!
Wow.
And Julian's going to say, so, coming back into the city, how we left, we've got a bunch of questions.
A lot's happened.
Yes, a lot has happened. So, what has happened with old Healing Hands safe houses? You guys still retain them? Have they been taken over by other groups?
Most of them have been taken. Like, only one or two really remain.
Which ones remain?
Well, Gaspar's house is still open.
Ooh.
I mean, who would want to live in a torched out?
We would.
All right. Well, 2 locations in particular. What about the chop shop?
The butcher shop?
Yeah.
No. That's been taken over by the fire drakes. But of course, the fire drakes are just shock troops now for the council.
How many total cells have you been in communication with?
5.
Is that the total number that exist, or is that the total number that you have been in communication with?
I think that's the total number that exists.
Is these cell as big as yours?
A couple are smaller, but most are around this size.
Is Kotorara a proxy?
Yes.
What kind?
Water. You work for the water treatment facility.
Well, that's true.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Makes sense. And then second location. There was one that was just a few blocks north of the water treatment facility.
Mm-hmm.
I know from another Healing Hands member that that one was compromised sometime before we left the city. What's the status of that one now?
You're talking about where I used to work.
Another question later on. Yes. Where do you used to work? That water treatment facility.
Yes. That's contested territory.
So we don't know who's in control of that.
Correct.
Okay.
It changes day to day.
Contested by who?
So council troops are there quite a bit, and then also the animal preserve sympathizers.
Do you know who's leading them?
How did that come about?
Apparently they had been sending in infiltrators.
So are you working with them or against them?
It's kind of every group for themselves for the most part. The most vehemently independent of the groups. I mean, obviously, Healing Hands and the Animal Preserve have had long ties. So we've worked with them.
Okay, that was going to be my question, if you were aware of that.
Yes. So we've been working with them as much as we can. Apparently, they had a bit of a leadership vacuum right before everything started going down, so things have been a little bit wonky.
Really sure who's leading them now?
I don't have any information about that at this point.
No. We might be able to find that information.
But the most insular group are the anti-Northers.
Anti-Northers. And with a line through it?
Yes.
What does that mean?
Yes.
Well, they've decided that, yeah, you might want to keep a profile.
Well, that was the plan anyways.
So they're called the anti-Northers, which is a stupid name.
I agree.
Because they've decided that the North family are the leaders of the proxies. And they want to kill all proxies. They also want to kill all innates.
Back up a second. It's a commons group. Are you sure that the chop shop is controlled by the council and the fire drakes?
At least that was the information that I had just a few days ago.
Okay. We were just there, and there were some very anti-Norther symbols at the chop shop, and some propaganda, very anti-elemental, along with a lot of posters of all of our faces.
Yeah, they don't like you.
But they're using our faces as a way to combat the council.
I mean, they have a hierarchy of evil.
And where do we stand in that hierarchy?
At the bottom.
Head and shoulders above a lot of the other ones.
Oh my gosh.
You might even say that you're leading by a neck.
Wow. Is a giraffe on the table now?
No, not a real giraffe.
But literally a giraffe.
Yes.
Ellie brought her own toys this time.
We're all doomed. So anyways, these posters The message on the posters was end the council. Using our faces. Using images that were anti-council. Councilman's helmet lined through it. And extinguished elementals. Like a dry well. Extinguished match. Split boulder. A feather falling to the ground. All would just said the words end the council. So if this is this group, the anti-Northers, yes, obviously they don't like proxies. But they're using our faces as the face of ending the council. Including Chime's face, which if they are very anti-North, why would they do that?
Do you think I have all the answers?
You've been in the city.
You should at least have some.
We've been trying to just establish our own toehold here and to make sure that people survive.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Jerry would be happy to hear that.
On that note, do we want to take this conversation upstairs?
We should.
To where everyone can be part of the planning.
So there is Archie and Jerr.
Archie's facing the window. Archie's gonna say, so who is it, without turning around?
It's March.
So Archie turns around and says, welcome back, March. Long time no see.
You're working with this one? Let's go downstairs.
Archie's gonna take a couple steps forward and says, is there a problem?
He's like, hold on. Where we went, fixed that. We went to the preserve. We went to the preserve.
You made it all the way down there?
It was Serrani's idea.
Is that why they have a power vacuum right now?
Serrani was the leader?
Yeah.
Oh. Power vacuum since we left, or recently in like the past month?
Just before you left.
Okay. Yes, because apparently her body was killed before we left. I don't understand it all. She was downloaded into another android.
Temporarily. She's better now.
Well, barely. She was better when we started to leave.
There might be more of a vacuum coming because the council made it to the preserve.
Oh.
Yeah.
Quite fiercely.
Well.
And don't trust anybody that looks like Atari.
What?
Don't trust anybody that looks like Atari. Did you know that she had a twin?
She had a sister.
Twin. Apparently they look exactly alike.
Yeah.
Why is that a problem?
She's on the council.
The council?
Yes.
Is there another one?
Let's hope not.
I mean, there might be the HOA. I don't know.
Oh, gosh.
The true villains arrive.
That's what the council is. Just nothing but an HOA for Consiglio.
Oh, they do want the department to put them in inclusions, so.
Yeah, I love it, actually. I like the word where that's going to go. So, how does he respond to...
He seems a little flabbergasted because Katari was pretty high up in Healing Hands. At least on a local level. She had been working with Gaspar and Kotorara.
Is Jerr still occupied, Jerr?
I mean, it takes an hour, so...
No. As far as your lack of Healing Hands leadership, when Jerr comes out of his trance, we'll have to introduce you.
I can talk, I'm just kind of busy.
When Jerr's not busy, he might have some words for you. Does Jerr have words now?
A few.
Jerr was part of the old guard for Healing Hands. And by old guard, we mean...
200 years ago?
Yeah. Redneck's near time period.
Yeah, apprentice to Redneck's near.
The student has become the master.
When did Anakin show up?
Episode title. When did Anakin show up?
Jerikin Skywalker. Well, I don't really know how to take that.
You got a new leader?
What?
You're saying there's a power vacuum, there's no one to lead.
I mean, he looks a little busy, so is that something that he wants?
I don't know. It just makes sense to me.
Makes sense to me.
It's something that has to happen.
There you have it.
Because you all have been doing it all wrong.
That's the Jerr we know.
Well, on that note of Jerr telling somebody off, we will go ahead and call it an episode.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Bone Throwers Theater.
Thank you for listening to Bone Throwers Theater. Our cast is Aaron, Ellie, Jeff, Jeremy, Johnny, and Jordan. We are releasing this podcast under a Creative Commons Attribution, Non-Commercial, No Derivatives 3.0 Unported license. That means you can share the podcast, but please do not modify it or try to gain financially from it. If you would like to visit our website, you can do so at bonethrowerstheater.com. If you would like to send us an email, you can do so at bonethrowerstheater@gmail.com. Our Twitter handle is bonethrowerstheater. You can also look us up on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And until next time, may the bones fall ever in your favor. This has been a Nerd Circle podcast production.